post right now? Okay, I just sent that to you. Did you get it? Okay, awesome. Okay, good morning, everyone. So today we are doing a workshop about back to school brows. So I did this workshop a couple years ago. If anyone was on that one, I would love a thumbs up. I remember some people that were on it, but it's been a couple years now. So today we are going to be talking all about a favorite topic amongst a lot of my clients, and I'm kind of saying that like tongue in cheek. I don't know that it is a favorite topic. I feel like there's always a little bit of awkwardness around this topic. So, for those that don't know, when I'm working with a client, especially a color analysis client, we do go through makeup. So, after the draping, they find out their season. We go through all makeup. So, we want to make sure that all the shades are correct, etc. And I, of course, do not force anything on anyone. I'm not like, come here, I'm gonna put makeup on you. It's very much a co-creative process, as in, do you like foundation? Do you use foundation? Are you ever gonna use lip liner? Yay or nay? It's not me pushing stuff. It's very much like, let's do this. But I always find when brows come up, it's like, I don't know, there's always some sort of like hesitation or something with brows. So I thought back a couple years ago when I first did this, I was like, we're going to do a workshop all about brows. And because brow trends definitely change over time, so I wanted to talk about, what is currently happening in the brow trend world. What are the common mistakes I see? And honestly, they've even changed over the years since I started doing this. So, anyway, as a little bit of an icebreaker, I wanted to tell you about my brow journey. So, here we go with some embarrassing pictures. This is me when I was a freshman in high school. This is my first boyfriend. His name is John Yohe. I mean, not that you need to know that, but I was 14 and I'm trying to hold it still, but so back then, in my family, I have inherited what's known as the Hammond brow, which is a very prominent brow. Like it was kind of a unibrow slash like giant in charge brow at that time. And my mom luckily did help me to figure out like plucking. So plucking did happen, but like very much large and in charge brows here. So I was young, like it was fine, but I knew like I was in high school. This was of the era when like the very skinny brows were just starting to kind of come into fashion in the late 90s and early 00s. So fast forward a couple years. I mean, this picture is kind of blurry and terrible, but like I learned how to kind of shape my brows, but they were almost like invisible in this area. So clearly I didn't know exactly what I was doing. Fast forward a couple years when I was in college, started wearing makeup, but the brows, like now you can see that they're getting a little too plucked, and I was going like a little too heavy with the tweezer. And then by the time I was a senior, I went way too crazy with the tweezers, and like that was a look for a while, as you might all remember, like back in the 00s. So since then, like I definitely let my brows grow in. This is au naturel. Like I haven't done anything other than brush them, but I will be showing you what I do on a normal basis. So I'll make sure to come really close when that happens. So nowadays, we have had a bit of a brow renaissance in the world, as I'm sure you all know. Fuller brows are definitely back, but a little bit more nuanced even than that. And you will sometimes see on the runway and things, there is a tendency to like have very skinny brows or have no brows and things like that. But please don't take your cues for brows from the runway because it's just not what we're doing in regular life. I mean, those people, like the models, they're told to shave your brows or invisible brows or like thin brows. We're not taking our cues from there. So, a couple things that I see brow mistake wise these days. Okay. Number one, too harsh of brows. And we're going to talk a little bit about what does that mean. So, too harsh meaning too dark, too heavy for your actual face, for your coloring, for your contrast level. Second mistake I see too is like the opposite, which is too invisible of brows, meaning like you can't even see that they're there at all. Okay. Number three, wrong brow color. And the thing I see the most is, I mean, aside from the fact if you're going too dark, is I see a lot of people with like ashy hair, no red or gold. So a cool season like a winter or summer have too much red in their brows. And I've also seen the opposite with like too red of hair, or, maybe they're a natural redhead, not asking questions all the time if they're not a client. I've seen redheads with kind of like gray brows, and I'm like, no, it's not working. Okay, so those are my top three mistakes. And I'm going to go into some general pointers. Then I'm going to go into the specific brow trends. Then I'm going to be referencing what products can help you all depending on your brows. And during that point, I'm going to also be doing that. But before I keep going, any questions right now? I think I saw one come up. Oh, Melissa, where do we take our brow cues from? Is there a brow trend resource like there is for colors? Guess what? I actually researched before this call just to make sure I was correct in my thinking. Um, Mostly like just I look at Instagram and see like what's happening, but that's how I also see about people on the runway, and I know like that I would never encourage anybody to overpluck just because and like to over trim just because it's so hard to grow them back after a certain age. Then I'm like, nope, we're never doing that again. Like no matter the trend, if if it's going towards Invisibrows, no, we're not overplucking anymore. But Melissa, I will share. I'll email you actually, and I can email everyone this one link that I found, which is by a makeup artist. So if you want to make sure you are like 2026, 2027, whenever you are currently on trend with a brow look, just do your Google research or I'll do a workshop in the future. Okay. So anyway, couple little tips, and then I'm going to go into the trends. So, always we're grooming. I will get into that. We want to make sure we have properly groomed and shaped brows that can make us look more youthful. Two, like I said, avoid over plucking. That's just like you can't get it back. Just assume that you pluck and get rid of the hair, and the hair's not coming back. No matter what. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I was very lucky that a lot of mine grew back. Some of us are not so lucky. Three, fill in the sparse areas. We will talk about this. Four, we're always thinking a little bit about the tail. We'll talk about that. And using makeup to help with the shape and the look. Okay, so brow trends. Some of these actually did surprise me a little bit because I have heard that straight brows, I don't know if you've all have seen those, are like the in thing. So in the past, let's say 5 or so years, it was all about kind of almost straight across brows with not a lot of rounding here at the tail. I mean, like I can't change my eyebrows. So like I knew that was never going to work for me. But in 2026, we now are actually more towards a softer version of the straight brow with the ends having a little bit of tapering. So, yay. That means the natural brow shape is in. So, straight across brows, not as much in anymore. A little bit straight, but then with the tapering, good. Okay? The next 2026 brow trend is super sharp arches, meaning like very manicured, angular arches. That is no longer the thing. Now we want to see a very soft, curved arch which is very natural looking, very feminine and soft. Okay. Third trend, which I'm going to show you using this a little bit. So a couple years ago, when like the full brows were like really, really back, we had a messy brow line, meaning the bottom was like kind of messy. And I'll try to get a little up close and personal. You know what? Hold on. If I pin myself, you'll be able to see me better. Can you see me really big now? Am I bigger or no? Try to pin me if you need to see me bigger. But a couple years ago, when like the big messy brows look was in, it was all about like the whole thing looking really messy, meaning like the bottom could look as messy as you want, like this would be fine, and the top could be kind of like messy if you want. So very messy used to be big. Now clean line on the bottom, but messy on top is better. So I'm going to show you drawing a clean line down here and just leaving it a little messier up here. All right, next trend. So this is one I see a lot. Sometimes with clients, but I would say even more so on Instagram, is too heavy, too dark, too intense of brow makeup. And if you have naturally dark brows, like obviously I do, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about people with even like a little lighter hair or people who are like had this color hair maybe and they're making it still dark and they want the brows to match the hair. So they're darkening the brows. But now, because as we age, we're losing all the pigment in the hair, in the skin, in the eyes. It's getting harsher as you go, which all of you who have attended one of these before who know about color analysis, this is the problem with when your hair starts to naturally, as you age, lighten, turn gray, etc. With keeping your brows super, super dark, it's too overpowering and intense, and it's going to throw off your whole natural contrast. Okay. So that is a big mistake I see. What is more in now is just going actually a shade lighter than your brows. So, like I'm dark brown, but maybe I'm gonna go with a light brown. Guess what? I'm not doing it yet because this is still the color here and still the color here. But in a couple years, when more of the grays come in, like I will start to go a little bit lighter. Or if you don't want to go with a lighter brow liner, you can get a tinted gel, which is actually what I've started to rely on more. And I will show you how this looks in mere moments. But a tinted gel, brow gel, it's not going to give you that like heavy, intense brow look like a liner will. Okay. Right. All right. That was it for my trends. And now, if everybody wants to check out, if you have not yet, in the chat, I have a little workbook. This is mine printed out. But I'm just going to walk you through some of this and I'm going to show you some on myself. But let me know, does anybody have questions right now? Thank you, Annalise. Annalise just put it in the chat if anybody needs it. Okay. Okay, so this is not in there, but I'm going to just mention that. This because this was something that I was clueless about. And some of these things I was even clueless about until a couple years ago. But some tools that I like to use, I mean, I feel that you were all probably familiar with this little friend. I have been friends with him for a very long time. This is my first brow tool. I mean, maybe it wasn't this exact one, but as I throw it all over the place. So, when we're plucking, we always are thinking of maintaining the brow shape, and this goes for any type of grooming. So, brows should always be starting, and again, I'm not perfect, but starting at the corner of the eye, right alongside the nose, straight up. You don't want them to go really in more than that, unless you're Frida Kahlo. You want it to be, and you don't want it to start like if you've watched Meg Ryan and some of her 90s movies, it irks the crap out of me because her brows start like here. No, the best part, the best place is right here. Okay? Your arch should be line up the bottom of your nose and have it cut through the corner of your iris, and that's about where your arch should be. And then the brow should end. You go corner of the eye, corner of the nose, and there. Okay. So we're boom, boom, boom. Good. Okay. And underneath the brows. So I try not to go like too close to here because then it's getting rid of the brow volume. But any strays that are here, I'm always getting with this little guy. Some people like to wax. That's an option. Some people like to thread. That's an option. I have never gotten waxed. I have never threaded. I think I'd be more inclined to thread than to wax because I feel like waxing is too risky and might take off actual brow, so I don't do that. This little tool I learned about only a couple years ago, but this, I think they call it a microblade or something like that. You can get them at Sephora or Ulta, but they are like a little razor. I love it. So not only can it get rid of your mustache hairs, it can also get rid of sideburn, chin, etc. I use it for all that, but also this I like using for up here and just if there's stray hairs at the top coming down like this, because it'll clean up this area where those really little baby hairs get. And I think it's just easier than plucking all those. The plucking, save for those bigger ones right here and here. Okay. One thing about this, I am too afraid to go underneath too because I'm afraid of stabbing my eyeball. So just FYI. Okay, another trimming thing, if you're, I guess, old school like I am, and you're mostly a plucker and a blader, um, and if you have unruly brows or brows that grow a lot, get some scissors and trim them. I do trim mine, not like every day. It's probably once a month or something, and I don't go too crazy because you don't want them to be too thin. But it does help when you have brows that grow. Some people don't have like really dark, thick brows. You don't really need to worry about it if they're super light brows. But if you need a trim, best way to do it, brush down. And any stray hairs, like I must have just done it because it's not too bad right now. But like right here, I'm not gonna do it for real because I'm definitely gonna mess it up. Because it's like I'm not looking in the actual mirror, but I can snip, 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 and then it maintains the brow shape. I used to do it upward, but that's not as good of an idea as downward. If you do it downward, you can certainly like see where the outliers are and then snip a little. Okay. If you want something much easier, I mean, a professional can clearly do it for you, but this is just what I've gotten used to, and I must say I'm always afraid to like have somebody wax my eyebrows or pluck them for that matter. Threading, I have never tried, but if you've threaded, I want to hear all about it in the chat because I may ask for your advice. It's a nerves thing. Okay. Anyway, step number one. We groomed the brows. We used our microblade, or we plucked, or we waxed, or we threaded, or we trimmed. So we have a shape. But then we are dealing with the actual brow, and what the heck do we do with it? Okay, this is not me, but if it's you, if your brows are very, like, almost invisible, this is what you need to do. First of all, you are not going to go for a super dark liner like I would. Like, no, dark brown is out for sure. You could use Okay, so I will say this. Color Me Beautiful, they used to have brow powders. They no longer have their duo, their brow powder duo, but what they do have is they have some eyeshadows that actually can double as brow powders, which I've had clients do this a lot. Emily, I'm going to respond to your comment in a minute. So if you have gray brows and they're on like I would say a steely gray, this polished pewter is a great brow liner to use. If you have very cool brown hair, Malta Milk is a good one to use. And to apply either of these, I mean, it doesn't make much sense for me because it won't match, but you take a brush. I have a similar one linked in the workbook if you need one of these, but brushing, 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 up, up, up. Then take the applicator side and you put it in your thing. And first, you create the line down here. So make sure you're starting at the right spot where we talked about earlier and go, oh, I guess did get a little bit on there. So I want this line on the bottom to be straight. And then a little bit more. Fill in, da, da, da. Okay, I definitely did get some on there. So I'm filling in a bit here. But if you have very invisible brows, you're going to be way more aggressive than I just was. You're going to go with this over any hair on the whole brow, okay? Using light strokes like a brow would go, okay? And make sure you're lining it up with those 3 points. This is if you have barely visible brows. One thing that I also see people do is tattooing brows, which I think is totally fine if you're tattooing. They do not always look natural to me. What I would say to those people who tattoo, use something else also on top just to make sure the color is correct. Because a lot of times I'll see somebody that has like a golden blonde hair, but their brow tint, it's like a very cool brown and they almost need to add a little gold. And in that case, I would say like use a brow powder or a brow gel that is closer to your hair on top of that tattoo color. Okay. So again, if you have barely visible brows, a very light brow powder, which I listed these on there, or you can also use a brow liner. If you do the brow liner, you're doing the same. So you are creating your line here, and then you are doing little light strokes throughout the whole brow area over the actual brow hairs. When you're done, use this spoolie, brush up, okay? All right, that was my barely visible section. Any questions on that one? Hold on, let me look. Okay, Emily said, I have waxed, threaded, microbladed, plucked, and it shows, never at the same time. It's okay, Emily. It's just your journey. That's just your journey. We all have our brow journey. Okay, anyone else questions before I go to the next one? Okay, no. All right. So with the barely visible brows, again, like my overall advice is you don't want to go dark. And this actually, so you'll hear sometimes people say like, oh, dark brows look younger. No, that's not the case. You just have to have visible brows. So don't go dark thinking that that's like the good thing to do. You want to keep it close to your color, your natural hair and brow color. You don't want to go like this. If you have light colored hair, it'd be crazy. Okay, so second area, which this is something I do have as one of my struggle areas a little bit, brows that are patchy. If your brows are patchy, which I mean, mine are not that patchy. Sorry, my hair is kind of crazy right now. It's lots of fluff going on. Okay. If your brows are patchy, again, you'll know it's patchy because you brush them up. And like right now for me, you can see this area is thicker than this area. So for me, like this is the patchy area right here. Okay. Same on this side. Like this is patchy. And the reason you all know it's patchy is because of that. Okay. Don't be this girl. Don't overpluck. Okay. So I'm going to do the same thing that I mentioned last time with the light brow liner. We're making kind of this bottom line can be straight and then going up in little lines to look like actual brows. And it's not too bad over here, so I'll probably just leave that area and then brushing up. And again, the top can be a little messy. The bottom is where you want the line to kind of go straight across. Okay. Not perfect, but it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. So again, this is a Color Me Beautiful one. The other ones I talked about, Color Me Beautiful also. I use this pretty religiously, I'm not gonna lie. I have started getting into the tinted gels, which are new from Color Me Beautiful, which are very fun and I like them. But this is like my old standby, just like a bright lipstick. Like I love using this. In the summer, if I'm going to the pool, probably not gonna do it. But I do love this to fill in a little bit of the patchiness. Okay. So then, if your brows, lucky you, are thick and unruly and you don't have any patchiness, the best thing for you is first of all, grooming. Make sure they're not like unruly as in too long and have a bunch of brows hanging out. And if you do, keep in mind my little friends here. Mr. Scissors, Mr. Brush, Mr. Plucker, Mr. Blader, because you don't want brows everywhere. It's not supposed to be the enchanted forest around your brows or anything. You're supposed to have a shape, okay? So unruly is a great problem to have because the thing that you really need to be concerned about is the grooming and the maintenance. Once you do the grooming and maintenance, that is when you use your brow gel. Hold on. Just dropped on the floor. So Color Me Beautiful makes this clear brow gel where you literally, it's like mascara for your brows and you just swipe on. But it's clear. You don't, if you're not worrying about filling in the patchiness and you have those big brows, like awesome, but you do need to keep them in check or else they're just going to be everywhere. So a clear brow gel is great. And I would say this problem to me, like I don't see it a lot with my clients, but when I've had clients bring their kids and their kids are like, teenagers or 20, like maybe 20 years old, sometimes those brows are a little unruly. But mostly my clientele's 35 plus, and I do not really see this as much of a thing. Okay, so now if, like me, your brows are both patchy and unruly, your best bet is using a combination of things like I do. So not only am I doing this like I did on this side, I'm also using a tinted brow gel. And some days when I'm feeling lazy, I only use this. So I'll show you what this looks like on this side, and hopefully I can do it well. So again, like the other one, it is tinted. This one is dark brown. There's also blonde, there's also light brown, there's also auburn, and there's also charcoal. So there's a wide range of different color options. So you simply put on like this. And the beautiful thing about this is it will keep your unruly brows in check. And it does like give them a little bit of a thicker appearance, as you can see. The only thing that, like, when I'm looking at them that I'm still noticing is like I would fill in a little bit of this patchiness with my brow liner. Did I grab the right one? No. It's starting to get dark in my office, so the colors will blend. So I would fill in a little here. Okay. But I do love this new brow gel. I just feel like it's so easy depending on your brow issue. So remember, if you have barely there brows, we need to first create the brow. So if you have barely there brows, like this is not necessarily my first go-to. If you have patchy brows or unruly brows, like the brow gel is awesome. Okay. Oh, so I want to talk about some other brow enhancements, but first, gonna take questions. Oh, Wendy said too late. Oh, it's never too late, Wendy. Don't worry. Okay. Just if you have questions, put them in the chat and I will get back to them. Okay. A couple other awesome brow enhancers that will make your brows really pop. This is one of them. Love this product. This is a Desert Island product, which Color Me Beautiful makes. This one, I clearly love so much that the thing that said Color Me Beautiful rubbed off. But it's called Concealer and Eyeshadow Base. And what you can do with that is simply put it near under the brow like this and up here over the brow. And then you can use a blender or you can rub it in, but it's going to really highlight the brow really well.
Mm.
If you don't have this product, it's such a good one. It also is concealer, so it is certainly a desert island. Okay, like, look, you can see a difference. Like, see how that one is so much more like, pew, and this one is like, it's all right, but it's still like not as pow. Yeah, it's a really good one. And you can see it like makes me look more awake. Also with this one, I would put it a little bit here in the eye wall. So that lightening the inner eye area is always going to make you look like much more awake. Okay. Well, I didn't do that perfect and I'm not blending it well, but you can see it does look like, ooh, she woke up on that side. And this side is like, oh, I'm still a little bit sleepy. Okay. That's one enhancer. Then another one you can also use, which is very fun, is a highlighter. And look, I used mine so much that it's this little mini thing now, but it's usually like this big. But with this, it's the same idea. So this is also a good one to put in the eye well. It will wake you up. But then put it up here. Hold on. Make sure it's coming off. And it gives a little shimmer too, which is really nice. And up here, you can see.
Dana, is
Yep.
that also a Color Me Beautiful product?
Yes. So it is a Color Me Beautiful product. It's Gail Heyman though. It's like it
Mm.
says Gail Heyman when you look it up. But I listed it on the workbook. So
Okay.
this one, you can see, I didn't blend it, but when I turn my head, you can see how it's giving that shimmer. This is a great one too. If you are somebody with like very dry, oh, thank you, Annalise. Annalise said page 6 of the workbook. If you're somebody that has very dry or dull skin, these things are also great and you can use them everywhere. Obviously, like I have oily skin. Shine is not what shine's what I'm dealing with. I don't need to add shine. But if you want to add a little bit of like shimmer to your look, and I don't even want to say shimmer, just like a glow, these things are great because you can also do like, boom, go down the nose, go down the Cupid's bow, go here, then like blend it all in, and even like up here above where you put the blush is sometimes good. Anyway, these things are awesome. Again, they are way bigger when you buy them than this. They're like yay big, but they do last a while. Like I've probably had this one years and it's still going strong, even though it's like a little tiny niblet of a pencil. Okay, so um, I think, hold on. I'm just gonna go back to the chat. Does anybody have any questions about all the brow techniques to use for the individual brow challenges? And I don't even want to say challenges. It's just we're all created differently. Our brows are all different. But does anybody have questions about anything? I'm going to remove my pin now. Okay. All right. I see a hand. Melissa.
Yeah, just curious, the finished look,
Mm-hmm.
when should the top be smooth? I always take my finger and just smooth it out. Is that wrong? Like, should I leave those little pieces showing?
Right now, the trend is to the upper part to leave it a little bit, I don't want to say like messy, but it doesn't have to be a perfect line. So you can have a little bit. Like if you smooth it because they're going like way up, I think that's okay. But just a little bit of messy on the top is fine. Okay, Emily.
So because I said that I did all those things, the
Yeah.
waxing and the plucking and all the things,
Mm-hmm.
I'm noticing the first of all, I'm noticing my eyebrows lightening.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
I have gray, I've got red, very
Yep.
much lighter than they've ever been.
Yeah.
And then the sparse, the tail, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
the end, like they're almost disappearing because they're getting so light.
Mm-hmm.
What
Yep.
do you think is better to use, either the cream or the wand?
I would probably use a
Is there
combo. Yeah, I would use a combo for
combo?
you. So I would either do a powder or a liner, and I would
Okay.
do a gel also, a tinted gel. And guess what?
Tinted gel.
Yeah, if you want,
Okay.
you can come over and we'll experiment because you live close to me. So and I'm happy
Great.
to do
Okay.
that for anyone too. If you are close by and need some recs, like you're happy, like I'm happy for you to come over and we can do like an in-person little mini session. Okay, but other
Yes,
questions?
I need help. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Well, I have something to give away to those that are here live, but in order to enter the giveaway, I need you to fill out an interest form, which Annalise is going to put into the chat right now. So I want everybody, well, whoever, to be a winner. We're going to have one winner, and I'm going to tell you what you're going to win. The interest form is very easy, by the way. It's just name, email, what are you interested in? And your prize for whoever I choose is, let me read it. You get a placement in my fall style edit program, which is more than just our little workshops that we do, which I will continue to do and I love doing. But during this program, it's a three-part workshop series. So it's 1 hour on one Friday, 1 hour the next Friday, and an hour and a half on the final Friday. You also get a very big workbook, but it's all about fall color trends, the color trends that will flatter you, easy ways to update your wardrobe using what you already own, outfit inspiration and clothing combinations, including shopping links, which I've never done before. Session two is all about fall beauty trends. So we're going to do season's hottest makeup looks, how to update your makeup for fall, choosing beauty trends that complement your natural coloring. And obviously, there will be links, favorite products, and recommendations. And session three is all about fall style trends, biggest clothing trends, updating your current wardrobe for jackets, sweaters, denim, shoes, handbags, accessories, which trends are worth investing in, which ones to skip, shopping recommendations and links. So you will have lots of shopping links, and live coaching. So you will also get your workbook, which has fall trend guide, seasonal shopping guide, shopping resources and links, replay to all sessions. Sorry, I can't read. But anyways, it's going to be very fun. And you also, there's a option of upgrading to VIP. But anyways, anybody can sign up, but only one of you will win inclusion today. So if you have not, please submit your thing and I will draw a winner. Let me find my website so I can find it. Annalise, I forgot to send this to you. Okay. I have 6 entries. That means not everybody did it. I get some people are driving, but you have 1 minute to finish. 1 minute to finish if you want to be entered. And I'm going to write down everybody's names and pick one winner. Okay. If anybody needs more time, speak now or forever hold your peace. And I'm going to draw one name. Okay, here we go. I just wrote them down and they're in my hand and I am shuffling in my hand. All right, let's see. Inclusion. One ticket to my fall style edit program is going to Emily. Congratulations. Yay. Okay, and one thing I did forget to include, for my local friends, this event is also culminating. So the event is for anyone, anywhere, but for local friends or anybody that wants to fly out, we're going to do a sip and shop event, which will be very fun at Treasures of the Valley in Wappinger Falls. So it'll be towards the end of October, so it'll be a lot of fun. We'll get to shop in person and stuff. So, okay. Congratulations, Emily. And thank you all who filled that out. Thank you all who attended. Does anybody have any questions before we sign off? No? Thank you all for coming. It was so lovely to see you all. And feel free if you have questions for me, as always, email, text, etc. Annalise, am I forgetting anything?
I don't think so, but I did just put your Color Me Beautiful
Oh,
link in
I
the
didn't
chat.
put that in. Yes. So afterwards, I will send this. Oh, you already have the workbook probably, but if you need it again, I'll put it in an email for you all so that if you want to check out the Color Me Beautiful products, certainly go to that. And Emily, I will follow up with you as well. And we are having a September workshop on September 10th. Write it down. I will send emails before them, but that's the next one. And by the way, I don't think I'm going to do any more on Monday because I kept personally forgetting that it was happening on Mondays. So future ones will probably be on Thursdays because that seems like I can remember them better. Yeah, but anyways, I'm so happy you all joined on a Monday morning. And I forgot to say this in the beginning, but we're always showing up and looking good and having fun. So, mwah, I love you all. Mwah. Have a lovely week, everyone.
Thank you, Dana.
Bye, guys. I'm gonna stop the recording.
Dana,
Thanks.
bye-bye.
Dana.
Bye, guys. How do I stop it? Okay.